Hello, everyone. I am Miss Catherine DR.JOHN Masters. I'm also known as Higher Ways Woman. My pet just jumped up on the bed. So I am making this video, and I am calling it The Great Reveal. Did I say that Higher Ways Woman? I can't remember when she jumped up. This is, what time is it? It's 20 to 11, and I am just now at the point that I've got some dinner heating up, waiting on it to be ready. I've got everybody else fed, everything else taken care of, and I just heard the bell go off. And so I need to pause this for just a second. I'll be right back. Okay, yep, dinner is ready. Let it cool down. The Great Reveal. What is the Great Reveal? If you are on YouTube, the thumbnail is a picture that I am using for comparison to help understand what all that I have been talking about for some time, going through, etc., etc. We're going to show. You're going to see it, and this is going to absolutely clear up everything concerning what I've been talking about medically. As many of you who know me, but those who do not, my doctorate was in radiology, gastroenterology. This was in the late 80s, early 90s. I do hold a couple medical records. I'm very proud of that. I paid a lot of money for the medical classes and schooling and teaching, etc. And very fortunate at the same time that I was able to create some medical records that, as a student, helps pay the way that just because that you may be young going into such a field does not mean that that you do not have the exceptional knowledge and maturity to be in that field. You don't have to keep proving and proving yourself, because we are very intelligent souls, and prophecy even supports us in it. You know, prophecy said that there would be coming a time when greater, higher intelligence, creativity, gifted, etc., will be flooding inundating. So it's not as if we haven't been here. We have been here. It's that there comes a time where there's a flooding in of this. This is the way that the world is getting flooded. And that's around 1980. And those who came before that time were like me, that one of the records I hold in the United States, the American oil and gas field, American oil fields, I am the very first woman to be a roustabout foreman. I ran crews in the Texas Panhandle in the early to up to 1985, and I built a lot of those leases, pump jacks put together, tank batteries, lines going everywhere. I did it all, and so in that time I hold that record, and then I was able to finally get back to my dream and step on a college campus, and I was where I wanted to be my entire life. I had a basketball scholarship actually that I fought for, that I worked for since I was about 7. When my mother told me that she's telling all of us 5 kids that if we want to go to college, that we would have to find our own way to go to college because our father, though that he has provided very well, hardworking man, I know so many times that he went to work sick, even injured. And even my pleadings of, please, dad, you're too sick or you're too injured, please don't go. No, no, he would go. He would go. Just an amazing man, amazing father. Um, he and my mother are the reason why that I have the integrity and the work ethics and community and wanting this to be passed on for generations, and that the responsibility of the adults is to make way for the generations coming up, where we are supposed to make it not as tough for the younger generations to break into things, to achieve things. That's what we are supposed to do as adults. We're supposed to do. I gotta pause this for just a second. Okay, let's check it good. So, I want to show you this. I have been watching some amazing videos that have inspired me, and these are, it's amazing, out of the mouths of babes, out of the mouths of babes that sit there and go, just because that I am not a model walking down a runway, I'm not GQ, I'm not having a handmade suit or special dress, all this stuff that they say that even though that I may not have that body, etc., that doesn't mean that I'm not beautiful. And uh, that gets me. And so I have been talking about um, the medical condition that I have, that I am literally fighting time. We are duking it out. We are duking it out. And I am trying to get things taken care of. And I've got some wonderful people who are trying to help me to get certain things taken care of so that I can go where I need to go, so I can get off of hospice and have a chance that I can live for a few more years. I was put on hospice in September of 2020, and that's not an easy thing to have done. It's not easy to have these people suddenly coming into the home and going, okay, let's get the hospital bed, let's get the oxygen machine, the oxygen tank, let's da da da. And you are now saying that you do not want to go any further into investigating, da 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 da, that we are just, from now on, going to try to keep you as comfortable as possible till you die. Until I die. Until I am here no more. And here no more means that I will not be talking to friends on the phone or on the internet or going to asking to come be a speaker, come share what I know, or being sought to of my medical knowledge, um, helping to save a doctor's license that I know has been wrongfully accused, and absolutely I can prove that this doctor is innocent, and I can prove what happened, where the failure occurred, and more than anything, that the medicine that I was taught, that I paid for, that I can use that, and also that the fact that I had a fatal tumor, that there were only 3 neurosurgeons in the entire world who could do the surgery, had the knowledge. Dr. Yuri Fish, and I cannot remember what country he is from. I almost want to say like Yugoslavia, Russian, somewhere. He was the one that in 1986 discovered a way to get to my tumor was in front of the pituitary gland. And very simple to tell you how to locate it is this is exactly how that they teach us in medical school. They go, take your finger, put it between your eyebrows, okay, right there. Now do a 45-degree angle, and then you go about 1¼ inch to 1½ inches inward. And right in this pocket, you're not in the brain, but in this little area is the pituitary gland. And also in this tight little cave is nerves that if you do not honor it, these nerves, if you do not treat these nerves like they are the most sacred, majestic things you have ever come across, then the person is going to die. If they don't die, they could be partially to fully paralyzed. They might know their name, but they don't know the names of their parents or siblings, etc., etc. 1986, okay? My tumor in front of the pituitary gland showed up in 1991. And I did not have, well, Yuri Fish had passed away. The other 2 doctors, which at the time that I was not told about, was Dr. Takanari Fukushima, which you would go, Dr. Neurosurgeon, Dr. Yuri Fish, number 1. Number 2, Dr. Takanari Fukushima. Number 3, Dr. Stephen Black, who is the head neurosurgeon in Barrows Clinic in Phoenix, Arizona, I believe. I believe that's right. Phoenix, Arizona, or Barrows. Anyway, Stephen is the other one. And unfortunately, I got Dr. Jeffrey Cohn the first go around, and yeah, he was the one of the 3. Didn't know that till later. But he did provide me with a death experience. October, see, Dr. Jeffrey Cohn operated September 4th, 1991. The semester before that is when I made the 2 medical records, which is one of the medical records is that in 1991, not only did the MRIs become available, and my hospital, my base hospital, High Plains Baptist Hospital, Emerald, Texas, first one to get an MRI. We got one. And also at the same time, they had this computer panel bank. And now in radiology, you have these KVP, AP, all these things that you got to set these dials, figure this. So there's a different depth between taking an X-ray of a hand to taking an X-ray of the chest, and you got different body sizes, and so it is the job of the radiologist. It doesn't matter if they got a 2-year degree, because a 2-year degree is enough knowledge that by the time you get it, you can do everything that a radiologist can do. It's just that they want you need more time teaching, because a radiologist knows exactly that in that bone, this bone, right at this point, there should be a hole about so big that's coming out of there, and it threads this direction. It should be da 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 da. And if that's not there, or if it's too big or it's gone, that's a radiologist. You want to know who the king of medicine is? Radiologists. Radiology, because without radiology, you will not know what's going on in the anatomy. And I loved radiology. And I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 1986, and I dove deep into that. And because that, I wanted to learn everything about, because that's what I did. Every chapter of the anatomy we were on, I wanted to know everything. So by the time that we got done with that chapter, I'd been in the medical libraries, I have been in special procedures, I've been invited to seminars, etc., etc. Okay, so y'all get the idea that that I advanced very quickly. I was blessed that I had all this availability, and more so than anything, that at that time, that who I was being taught by and having invitations, because I was a first year student. That record that I have is that I was recording what techniques, the dial setting, that when I shot that beam of energy through that person's body, that the film that I produce, that I'm looking at, is the most quality film. It gives you the best view of all that anatomy, so that radiologist could sit there and look at it and be able to give you an incredible diagnosis, tell the doctor what is seen, and you get the best treatment. We know exactly what's going on. And so at one time in the 1991, January 1991, so that semester, they came out with this computer bank that says chest x-ray, hand, foot, skull, abdomen, blah, blah, blah. You just pushed a button instead of going, all right, this person is of this weight, this thing, da, da, da. Instead of, adjusting the dials and taking the picture, you just pushed a button. It's a generic technique. And now, listen to what I just said, generic. It is a generic, because they want you to know that generic is like getting name brand. No, it's not, okay? It's generic. Well, if I have somebody that is like 125 pounds and I am doing a chest x-ray, push that button, and then I have somebody that is 6'2", 6'5", 300, 250, 300 pounds, whatever, hit that button for a chest x-ray. What do you think I'm going to get? Okay. I had been writing down all these techniques. I would write down body height, body weight, bone build. And what of my techniques were I seeing, or doctors, radiologists, other techs, graduated techs, what they use. And so I had this written down. And everywhere I went, I took this particular notepad. And I even had one that was a little bit, that I was able to reduce a little bit. When we rotate out. When you're in medicine, you get a base hospital, and then you rotate it to other clinics and other hospitals. For every field of medicine, that's the way it is. And the record that I hold is that when I would go to other clinics, that they would see that I would turn off the automatic, the automatic board, the computerized board. I would shut that off, go to manual, and I would use my techniques, what I sat there mathematical figured out, and they would see it, what I produced, and they would literally, whether they asked or not, they were making copies, putting them up on their wall, and the computer was shut down. And I would also learn that they would call the technicians of the machines, come in here, here's how we want you to calibrate this. And so there are a lot of calibrations out there with x-ray machines that could very well likely have my techniques on it, producing great films without causing too much destruction to the DNA, because being able to shoot a beam through your body so that things register on the film, it is of the utmost importance that that is done as fast and as efficient as it can be, because not only does when that beam go through you, that it hits that DNA and it can take out a little chink out of the DNA. It can do these things, and there is what they call scatter radiation, which is that once it goes through and it's come back up. Now gamma, you got gamma rays that come, you're shooting an X beam through the body, two films or whatever, and then what's coming back up is gamma. And gamma, that is even more dangerous than what is being shot through your body. Okay. Please hang on to this video, because this is information that I've got colleagues and stuff that are telling me that I have betrayed them for sharing this with the people. And excuse me, I paid for that information. I worked for that information. I studied. I went to the library. Blah blah blah. And so it belongs to me. So if I want to share it, I am not degrading my colleagues. Blah blah blah. We need to change that thinking. No, I pay for it. I'm sharing it. Share it the way I want to. I'm going to do it. So I want the people to know who I am and what I do. And I am very grateful for those that, when you look at, oh, it just had to happen, didn't it? It just had to happen. Okay. That's okay. That's okay. They're not going to win. And I will fix it later. There I am. This is 2000. This is uh, 8 years after I had the surgery where they didn't know whether that I would know my parents, if I could walk, talk, whatever. This is when I found a pain specialist who, on my first visit, knew exactly what my diagnosis was, which was that because of the type of surgery that I had to save my life by and performed by Dr. Takanori Fukushima, that I had trigeminal neuralgia. Now, trigeminal neuralgia, right quick, has a nickname. The medical fields have a nickname for it, just like the medicine Fosamax, that is supposed to be to help build your joints up, but what it does is that it goes in and your lower jaw is where your body will store calcium. So if you are in need of calcium anywhere in your body, it will kind of pull it from here. Well, Foxamax will deplete the jaw of calcium, and basically you can be having mashed potatoes and literally break your jaw. Okay. Trigeminal neuralgia, and I could not even try to read something that when I would do that, I would end up in the emergency room. There would be even the slightest weather change in the emergency room. Until I met Dr. Michael Burdine. Dr. Michael Burdine, if you ever happen to see this video, to me, you are sitting at the right hand of God. What can you say about a person that before I went to him, I look bad right now, and I would say that, yeah, I look like this. And his pain management treatment, which was, I'll tell you, because I shared it with the two pharmaceutical companies and other places in 1999, and it is what opened pain management. People were getting better pain management, and at the time it was, you are not going to sit there and what people are doing on the streets, you ain't going to tell us, come into the office, come into mature adults and say we're responsible for that, when we know that there are companies that are flooding it from the back doors, because there's no way in the world that you can have that much pain medicine on the streets. It would take more than every single person receiving pain medicine. Every single person receiving pain medicine. It would take every single person and more to come. They won't even come close to the amount of the pain chemicals that are on the street. You cannot get that much out there. like they're trying to tell you. That's coming out of back doors because black markets will produce you a heck of a lot of money, people. So I was on 100 milligrams of MS cotton 3 times a day. I had Norco 10650, brand name, not generic, that I could take 2 every 4 to 6 hours for breakthrough pain. I had Demerol, 150 milligrams. That's what they would have to give me at the ER when I am in level 10 pain and I am nonstop throwing up horrific. This is the reason why they call it the suicide pain, because I have had times where I've been medically Jesus Christed, pay for what others have done. And because I was denied what was in my records to treat this affliction, because to have a lot of craniotomy surgeries, what they don't tell you is that trigeminal nerves are your main nerves. They feed all nerves throughout your head, inside your head, everywhere else. When these are damaged, you can't damage anything more worse than the trigeminal nerves. And they call it the suicide pain because no other pain can the body produce that has made more people to take their lives than trigeminal neuralgia. And medicine knows that the best medicine to treat nerve pain is morphine. That's why we have it. And actually, the reason why humans have pain medicine, I'm going to tell you this right quick. You want to know where pain medicine, pain management for people originated? Where its origins come from? I'll tell you. You're going to love this. This is a great video. This is a great video. I'm going to tell you. Because I found it when I was doing a research paper. I had 3 of them do it at the same time, and I taught all 3 of them. It was religion, literature, and medicine. I taught them in to allow me to do research paper on the origins of medicine going back to biblical times through present times. And believe me, I was very thrilled when all 3 of religion, literature, and medicine allowed me to do that research. One research is of 3. And where did we get pain medicine for humans? Came from a veterinarian. A veterinarian noticed that his patients, his clients, that after surgery or after injury, or that an illness that creates, any of these that create severe pain, that when he had their pain brought down, where they're not whimpering, crying, and everything else, that when he brought their pain down to like a 2, 3, maybe 4, that his patients recovered faster. They had less lingering problems, and especially that there was a significant reduction in the psychological and the emotional impact of being in that kind of pain. And so this was brought to the attention of those who treat humans. And what do you know? When you bring their pain under control, where they can be on their feet and they can take care of their job, they can take care of their family, they can be involved in their community instead of looking like it's not hard. It's not hard to treat the body to get that kind of results. And when you want to make people pay for what others have done, especially mature adults, this is what it looks like. And so let's get into what this video is about, the Great Revealing, because this is very tough for me to do. And again, if it had not been for especially these brave children and brave adults that have body morphine and losses that are far greater than mine, and say that I have learned to love myself and that I have learned that I am beautiful, that I think that about myself, because when you look at the thumbnail, you look at the photo that I have along with this video, that it is very hard for me to do a video where you hear me speaking, because the damage of, you see the scar, you see it. I did not give permission for that surgery. I have a tumor that is right here. This tumor was supposed to be removed. I woke up to this. And so the nerve, and there are even things that are cut that are not put back. And so you see that how I speak, how I sound, this pulls on me. And see, look, you see, see, it pulls on me. To have a knife taken to the body is really something, should be the last resort. What you do, you should try to do everything possible that you can before you take a knife, because once you cut flesh, and they've known this since the 30s, and they do everything. They made the decision back then to not tell people the truth about adhesions, because if you knew about adhesions, that you knew that once that the flesh is cut, it causes a scarring, and this is just a matting, and depend on where that cutting of the flesh is. If you have it here, or you get this pulling and stuff, and this is not really life-threatening unless, of course, the jugular vein goes right along the mastoid, sternal mastoid. That's that muscle. mastoid, sternal mastoid. Well, there's a jugular, scar tissue, adhesions. No getting away from it. It can sit there and close off the jugular vein, and of course, strokes happen. And if you get it done in the abdomen, adhesions are so prevalent, and in the United States, they will not use this powder that China created, that if you sprinkle this within the abdominal cavity before you close it up, that powder has been proven to reduce the amount of adhesions considerably, absolutely considerably. I'll throw a number out there: 75%. Adhesions in the abdomen generally cause a person needing those removed, broke down, because they go in there and they just start clogging, locking everything. Adhesion, everything just locks it down, everything. And you have to cut that tissue, cut it. And they've learned that if you do sutures inside, that causes adhesions to be worse. And so really, one of the best things to use is super glue. Super glue the adhesion. But actually, they've had a technology for some time that they can sit there, and it almost is like spraying it, and you'll see that healing. You'll see it in some of the old sci-fi that, like, let's see, Logan's Run. I love that movie, where you sit there and, or I think Farrah Fawcett is in that one. Anyways, one where you see him on a table and it's cuts here, and then all of a sudden another sprays and that's healed up. You can see that it was laser cut, this, straight on, never can cut. They've had it for a long time. But back in the 30s, they decided that, made an oath that no one in the medical field is allowed to acknowledge that. Adhesion? I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? No, there ain't no such thing as adhesion. Yeah, right. Okay, so anyway, now the great reveal. Let's get into this, because I won't have much more time, and I know everybody else doesn't either. Okay, where am I at? I have made videos that I am trying to. I have one of the things. I had a surgery in 2008 that I did not give permission to. I awoke to my IV line being injected. I was there to have observation tests on my kidney, because I had a kidney that really wasn't functioning too well. I was admitted on January 10th, Wednesday, 2008, and around 8 a.m. Friday morning, January 12th, 2008, I woke to a nurse injecting my IV line. I was taken out of the room and not transferred to a gurney. I just disconnected everything and took me downstairs. And when I woke up, I was cut from here to here. And I had about 8 feet of NG tube in me. What I just told you is, if I'm going to put a nasogastral tube in you, the way that it's done, and they teach this, you take the end of the tubing and you go to the middle of the abdomen, and then you come up here to the nose, and that tells you that that's how much NG tube, because you go to the stomach. That tells you how much you need. Everybody's different. That's how you measure it. That's easy. My doctor untaped it from my nose and started walking back. And by the time he got across the room to where the bathroom door was, is when the end came out of me. All right. Here is where I'm at, folks. What that surgery did. And I am going to have I'm also going to show you the device that they put in me so you understand what you're seeing. I have a considerable amount of my intestines outside my abdominal cavity, and I have an enormous amount of tumors. But the intestines, I have the entire right side. My colon, instead of coming, I wish I could have a little bit more room and stuff to show you. Let me see what I can do here. All right. Okay. My colon goes from here to here. It should come up from here. My liver sits here. It should come here, and then they call it what they call the transverse colon because it transverse over here to the left side to where the spleen is. And so there it loops down this way. This is where they call the splenic flexure. Over here, because where the liver is, comes here, it goes like this, and then takes off, has that little bit of a loop like that. Okay. Hepatic means liver. So the hepatic flexure, this is the ascending colon. Down here, you go from, let's see, the ileum, small of the intestine, from the jejunum to the ileum, the cecum, first part of the colon, ascending colon, hepatic flexure, transverse colon. We're over here at the spleen. Okay, so now we're like this. Flexure, the splenic flexure, spleen, splenic. So here, splenic flexure comes down here, descending colon, sigmoid, and then you get into the rectum and then into the anus. Okay, now my ascending colon, I felt when this thing tore away, it roped down here, and I go this way. And right now, now the descending colon and sigmoid, I already had problems with a stricturing of that because with Crohn's disease, I'm going to tell you something real quick about this. It's going to be very powerful. There came a point that in the United States they took off quinine sulfate off the shelves, where unlike in other countries you can buy it off the shelf like you do Sudafed or aspirin, etc. Quinine sulfate is what you take to get rid of, Montezuma revenge. If you go over to these countries where the water is not purified, or that where you're at, that to help combat what you're having to drink from, these parasites will quinine sulfate will get rid of the bad parasites. And so because they took that off the shelves and people no longer get it, because that just being out in your garden, you're coming in contact with those parasites. Your pets are out there, they go outside, they're in contact with the ground, you pick them up, you're getting the parasites. Anything that grazes your milk, your food, they all have a certain amount of these parasites. It's just a part of the way that the world is, the way the world works. There are parasites in the food that are very beneficial to us. There are parasites that are not beneficial to us. And if we had quinine sulfate, and I learned this many years later, I read a gentleman's story. Now, I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 1986, and it was in around 1999, I think it was, 98, 99, when I come across this Crohn patient's story, and he noticed that how the symptoms of intestinal parasites were like the symptoms of Crohn's, irritable bowel, colitis, etc. And so he had a friend outside the U.S. send him quinine sulfate, and it took you can get them in when they can come in like a package might have 6, 8 in them, and he said that it took a couple packets of these, and then he'd been doing it for 17 years, dealing with all these symptoms, everything. I had surgery done on me over it. Should have never been done to begin with. It was done because that's what they want. They don't want you well. They don't want you knowing this, and they want to call it hereditary because, well, it's always going to be there. How can you fight hereditary? Well, these parasites are always there. It's easy to say it's hereditary. And also the damage done to the body. There are damage that is done by these things that, yeah, you'll inherit. But really, you take the quinine sulfate, and you're not suffering. You're not giving them money because all they care about is this right here. They don't care. They don't care about your suffering. And okay, and now that's information that I worked to have. I tested it. I got me some. Yep, it did the same thing for me. I was no longer suffering like that. I have shared it, and I've even had gastro GI doctors, a couple of them literally try to kill me over it. And well, I'm here. It's my info. There's a gentleman who shared his results. I'm sharing my results, and I'm sharing my knowledge. So let's get on with things, okay? All right. Now, I am not allowed to have any type of scanning imaging of my abdomen because not only do I have everything not where it should be, but there are radiologists, God bless them, keep them safe. Spirit knows who I'm talking about, that they have identified that Dr. John Glasgow of Altus, Oklahoma in 2008, when he cut me open, what he put in me. And I was still yet very, what he had done to me, what had been going on for a while, I was very thin until April 2014 when I had a doctor inject me with a caustic chemical that did severe damage to my body, and I swelled. I put on many pounds of fluid. I had cardiac problems, and I ended up with more and more of my intestines coming out of my abdominal cavity. And we see this device that was sewn in right at the splenic flexure. and I have been trying to get this thing removed. I was able to take magnets to it and make it to where that, I tell you the truth, this damn thing, it amazed me. I could be on the phone talking to a malpractice attorney, and this thing jolted me. And I had read about abdominal seizures, which was very crazy to me, didn't make any sense. And I could never figure that out until this happened to me. And I know exactly what they mean by abdominal seizures and what's causing it, because there's a device. It looks like a stack of cannonballs. It's in that shape. And this thing feels like that it is literally adhered to my abdominal cavity with nuts and bolts. I've tried to get this thing released and become so sick and so much pain about passed out. They put these in you to destroy your digestive system, which will destroy everything else. They call the digestive system the second brain. Well, I think it's second to the soul, that is the first brain. The physical brain put it at number 3. But anyway, okay, they put this in me. It's a very cruel, slow death, thinking that it will go unknown. And I am not going to let it be unknown, because there are so many people that they have done this to. And you're going to hear it from me. To stop them from shocking me, causing me there. This is a neodymium or denium magnet. I took 2 of them and I taped them over that device, because I could see, even on the CAT scans, I could see this thing. Although that, in the early days, a lot of them won't talk about it. And then I would even take crystals and put with it, taped it there. And I would focus on this not working. It's going down. And I would also at the same time think that I take it over and you are going to help, instead of sending out signals that cause destruction, you're going to send out signals that are going to cause regeneration. Well, I can tell you that my success has been that they cannot. It's very powerful. I kid you not. Most powerful magnets in the world, and being most powerful, they are very brittle. But I have even seen tumors with magnets taped to them in the next day. And I mean, they can be very big tumors, have these magnets taped on, and go to bed, and the next day, some disappear, some by the next day are gone. This is what these implants do. Now, I'm going to show you what they've done to me. I'm going to show you, and this is very hard because I'm very embarrassed. And I know that they're going to have access to this video, and I know they're going to share it, and I know what they're going to do. But I'm focusing on what I love the most, and I'm the best at, and that is sharing and healing. I can heal. I can heal through sharing. And that pisses them off, and that makes me very happy. It pisses them off. Okay? Y'all ready? All right. Now, remember her. Okay. Here we go. All right. That's solid, folks. You see, when I talk about looking like I'm 9 months pregnant with twins, I have never, ever, ever, I have never, ever this is what bad medicine does. Oh, I didn't see that. Huh, huh, huh. Oh well, it's not hard to care. You see why that I'm running out of time now. Now I'm going to reveal. I'm going to show you the incision. This is not easy for me to do, but it needs to be seen to be understood, because look at my prior videos. I've tried to get my truck fixed so I can be on the road and get this taken care of, because this would not be hard to do, and it will give me 4 years, maybe a little more. All right, come on, let's get this over with. All right, here's what they did. Here's what's going on. Okay, see where that incision is? It goes all the way down. Now, I'm going to show you. You see this right here? You see this? That's intestines. And they go out. That's intestines. You see? That's intestines. It goes up here. Okay? Now, that device, see, the hernia is actually been here. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you that device, that implant, that's like a stack of cannonballs. See how hard that is? Can you see it? Can you see that? Can you see that? See how big it is? See how big it is? On the CT scan, this ain't the energy, the frequency that it puts off reminds me of like the radiation nuclear, symbol. There it is. It just is. Lord. I never thought, I never thought that I would ever be in this condition, this shape. And this is what happens to those like me who fight pedophilia and who want the good people of Elk City and say elsewhere. Elk City to have their brand new hospital that the citizens can go to, but outsiders have come in and taken over, and so now people go to Oklahoma City or Tulsa or other places because the hospital that they built with their money was state of the art equipment, imaging equipment. It doesn't belong to them. They don't get to have good medicine. And because that, I have been able to prove in 2011 when the CEO, Don Eichmann, came to me telling me that they were about to lose this brand new $4 million medical center that just opened its doors in 2009, losing every medical lawsuit that came against them. And they were about, the people of Elk City was about to lose the hospital that they raised their taxes to build, that this was going to be taken away from them children, employment for their children and their children's children, on and on. They wouldn't have to go anywhere else. This medical center can do anything and everything that is needed, but it's been taken away from them. And I fought for it. And I paid for it even more because that was in 2011, and by 2014, that out of town ER doctor shot that caustic ondansetron into me, just slammed it. It's only supposed to be used for cancer patients. Its name brand is Zofran. It causes painful, irregular heart rhythms, and if you give it to a pregnant woman, not only does she have that heart problem, but the child is born with it. But they don't want to take the lawsuits when it's the adult who has it. But if you are pregnant and you and your child has it, they'll take the lawsuit. The rest of us, good luck. They won't take it. So here's a great reveal, folks. I got a mechanic who scammed me, I should have been loaded my truck up and I should have been gone. They don't want me to leave. They don't want me to be helped. If I am helped, that means that more people are going to get empowered. They're going to be given knowledge and a good chance that you are not making a video like I just made. Do you see? This is very hard. And it's harder when that I have helped a community save its hospital, show the doctors who were lying, the radiologist who was lying, the ER doctor who was lying. They were out of town. I had 4 broken bones in my left foot. I took the case, I got jumped, taken up there by ambulance, 4 broken bones. But the radiologist said perfectly normal foot. The ER doctor said nothing wrong. I never got treated. I drugged myself out of that hospital. They wouldn't call my emergency contacts. I hobbled over to the Carl's Jr. that's right across from Great Plains Regional Hospital and asked the people in there, can somebody please, I need a ride. I'm just coming out of the emergency room and I have no way to get home. And I had an elderly couple that said, we just got our meal. If you wouldn't mind letting us eat, when we finish, we'll take you home. And that's how it was that revealed how they were taking the hospital away from Elk City. And also, it's the biggest scam going, embezzling insurance companies. And there are cases going on with people who move in here that will have doctors that will do this and they'll do a lawsuit against them and they will get all this money. But the people, the true Elk Cityans, the original rooted people of Elk City, they don't get that. They have to go travel hours to have an MRI, but they got the best MRI, state of the art MRI, state of the art imaging, state of the art everything, but they can't use this hospital, can't use these doctors. And my sins for telling you, helping to save loved ones' lives and heal. And I gotta stop now because I am starting to feel ill and I am hurting. What this mechanic has done to me, I do not have the money to repair what should have been repaired for over $3,000. They won. the brakes aren't fixed. The brakes go to the floor. Fluids, look at the mechanic who tries to kill a woman. I can't go back into all that. I can't do it. Look at the video. It will tell you. You will know. What is it like that when a person in medicine is for the people who come to it and knows that you just do this, this, and this, and voila, look what you get. Look how well. When, yeah, I admire those doctors that did that and would end up in these, being an old country doctor and having a little shack of a place, and come in and little glasses on, fix this, and may even Yoda. I really didn't want to know what that was like. I'd rather just admire that they did that and know why they there, please. There just are some things I don't want to go through and experience. Knowing about it would be good enough, but I guess that wasn't the way that it gets to be for me. Please leave feedback comments. If you can help with donations, my truck, the wipers don't work. I mean, this guy, it is not anywhere near being roadworthy. The wipers don't work. He didn't have wiper blades put on it. There was no fluid in the wiper fluid container. There was no antifreeze in the reservoir. There's supposed to have to be. There is over a quart low in the transmission. He never changed the oil or changed out the spark plugs, the wires, all that stuff. I mean, this guy just absolutely just ripped me off, and I am stranded, and I do not want to die here. I think that if I can get this to the point where that if I can just get where I want to be, then let me go. Let me go. I got two pets that I will euthanize first. And then we're going to go on our last drive. Thelma and Louise, I love that movie. Thank you to all of you who have loved and cared about me and who has shared and also shared this video and have tried to get my story to the attention of the world, because if I can get the backing, what I can do, I can literally give the world back its pain medicine. I can do it. I did it for Oklahoma. You bet I can do it for the world. And it's going to blow you away to find out just exactly how simple that is. But I can't do it. I can't even talk about it until I got people who are together on board. They're here, they're doing it. That's the only way I can. Because if I even try it, it'll be lost and there will be no way. You will not be able to ever get not just pain medicine, but medical care. You'll never get it. You'll never get it. But this one way, you will be. You will. So listen, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for being so kind. And to so many of you who have made your videos and showed your disabilities, unfolding that and showing the world and showing how to love ourselves even that we do not. So, Dr. Catherine Dawn Masters, Higher Ways Woman, aka the TLG. Today is May 6, 2020. I wish you all the best. Stay away from the vaccines. If you do not have the virus or any virus that supposedly is out there, it means your immune system is working just fine. And from someone who was with God, Christ, the celestial beings, I was asked one time if there was something that I could give to the world, what would it be? And my response was that when the one that I know as Christ, when these celestial beings, beautiful, beautiful, the way that they looked at me, this adoration, this unconditional love, and I tell you, it is amazing, and it exists. It exists. It exists. You are loved unconditionally. And when you open yourself up to that these celestial beings, where you are really from, that this is what we are like, that you will experience that level, that unconditional love. And my response to it was basically hands in the pockets and going, you know, oh, no shucks, you know, oh, oh, to be loved, to be loved, to be so loved. And if you find your soulmate in this life, you are so blessed. I got that. I got to experience that. It's amazing love. It's amazing love. And it's a love that doesn't just stick between soulmates. That love is always available. You just need to be open to it. It exists. And it will come to you through pets and plants and all things in life. I am going to stop. I don't do endings very well, so I'm going to do it this way. And hopefully I'll get better with things. But thank you for listening. Thank you for being kind to me, being supportive, understanding. And please, please say a prayer for me. Light a candle. I really want to be here a little while longer. because I want to be able to give so the younger generation, I want you to have the best chance you could ever have of accomplishing what you're here to accomplish. At least you know that from this higher ways woman that I do love you. People are awesome. This planet is beautiful. I love you. I love you. Take care of each other. Please share. Share this video. Don't let it get lost because they'll try to take it down. If you know anyone, organization, media, please share it. However you can help, please do it. Good night, everyone.